Color is a powerful part of design and branding. Color can attract or repel. Color can affect how something is perceived. Color can make people feel something or change the way they feel about something, and color can sell. Research shows that people will make a judgment about something within just 90 seconds of viewing it, and 90% of that judgment is based on color. So when it comes to our branding, choosing the right colors really is important. There is so much weight on what they can do for your brand and how much they can say. And then of course how people are going to perceive your brand because of the colors you're using. When people work on their visual branding, they can easily fall into the trap of making these mistakes. For one, they just don't set a color palette for their branding, and they just pick and choose colors as they see fit when they're creating different graphics. Number two, they just simply choose their favorite colors. There's no other thought into what those colors are going to do for their brand. It's just simply what they like. Or the third mistake is that they simply follow color trends. What's really in right now? What kind of colors is everybody loving right now? Rather than what's actually best for their branding and what they want to communicate. Yes, you want colors that you actually like. You don't want to be picking colors that you hate, but you also need to be considering what you want to communicate through those colors, and also have colors that are timeless, not just things that are really trendy and in right now. You don't want to end up with a color palette that you end up getting sick of because you just don't really like those colors anymore. They're just not trendy anymore. So that's why it's so important that the colors you choose have more meaning and depth. So when it comes to choosing colors for your brand, what do you actually need to consider? Color has an amazing psychological effect, and so it's so important that you actually spend time researching the psychology behind the colors you're choosing. Because you certainly don't want to be sending the wrong message or confusing your audience or picking colors that don't say enough when another color can be more strong and emotive and really connect to people in the way that you're wanting. So the first thing I recommend is understanding the basics of color theory. Now there is a lot to color theory, so I'm not going to completely go into all the details of that, but it's something you should get to know, get your head around some of the basics of it. You don't want to be just stabbing in the dark when it comes to choosing colors. You need to find out what colors go well together, what colors are going to be harmonious and beautiful together. A good starting point if you're really unsure is to pick one or two colors that you'd really like to use, and then using some free online tools like Coolers or Adobe Color, which I'll show you the links below, and just putting in that color you want to start with and seeing what other suggestions it comes up with for what other colors might go well with that color. It's also a great idea to familiarize yourself with the color wheel. It's getting back to those real basics of what color theory is all about. The next thing to consider is color psychology. What feelings and emotions are evoked by the colors you're choosing. Take the time to first consider what kind of emotions and feelings you want from your clients and customers, and then finding the colors that say that and express that. Don't first choose your colors and try to somehow make it fit. Really be choosing colors based on those things. Next, I know I said don't choose colors just based on your personal taste, but do choose colors that you actually like and are going to want to stick with, because there's nothing worse than ending up disliking your own branding, because that means you're going to be more tempted to change things up and be constantly rebranding, and we really want you to stick with those colors long term. So it's important that you do like them, that you've chosen something that sits right with you. The next thing to consider is your brand positioning and perception. How do you want people to see you? And it can be the subtlest of things that can create different perceptions. For example, when it comes to choosing a neutral, a black is going to seem more luxury and elegant, whereas a lighter grey can seem a lot cheaper. So choosing the right kind of tones and colors can be really important when it comes to that positioning and tone of and your also branding. How you want to be perceived. So if you're going to be a very environmentally friendly business, choosing things like green can seem cliche, but it really does help when it comes to positioning you as that eco brand, and also how people are going to perceive you. If you start using red, that's going to be very confusing and you're not going to seem so natural and environmental. And colors like deep blue build trust. So things like banks, I want to be using colors like that because it makes people feel more trusting towards them. If they were using bright orange, maybe it wouldn't feel quite so trustworthy. And finally, when it comes to choosing your colors, be exact. Don't just say, oh, I use blue and yellow, because that is just way too broad. You really need to be getting down to the nitty gritty of the hex codes, the CMYK values, or picking Pantone colors really being precise about the colors you're using, because you want to be sure that in everything it's always the same tone and same color. You don't want things to be slightly varied every now and then or just going by eye. You really want to be exact about it so it's consistent. And then it becomes memorable and iconic for your brand. Think about things like Cadbury and their purple. What if one day they just did a slightly different purple because someone just guess the color rather than using the exact one? It's gonna look off, isn't it? And the same with Coke's red. What if someone just picked out a red and it was a bit brighter than usual? It's going to look off, isn't it? It's not going to create that consistency. And then you look less professional because, of course, there's a lot when it comes to color. So I can't cover it all in just one video. So I hope that these simple things will help you make better considerations when it comes to choosing colors for your brand, and so that you don't leap in and choose the wrong things, but it gives you the prompts to start doing your research and choosing the colors that are going to be right for your branding and something that you're going to stick to and be consistent with. And let me know in the comments, have you chosen the colors for your branding? Are you considering changing your colors for your branding? Did you pick them for the wrong reasons originally and want to change things up? Or you're feeling unhappy with them? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget, if you want more branding tips, then be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.